Did you want to cheat? Did you think, let me step out of this relationship?
Can you imagine trying to manage 4 men?
I personally don't think I have the anointing, the grace for that.
Welcome, everybody.
Honestly.
Has everybody got their vibes consultables?
Oh.
Sorry.
No, I'm not going. Did you get yours?
Yeah, absolutely. First day.
You know good and well.
I like your cold. Where's it from?
It's from ASOS.
Very cute, very cute.
I really like the fact that it's matching but not matching. Like, how cool.
I like the pyjama shorts vibes.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking, how's it going to look? But when it came, I was like, okay,
I like it. I can see you on holiday wearing it.
Exactly. So we had a bit of a situation recently where someone we perceived as good, like good vibes, did something that was just like low-key foul. And in a normal circumstance, we would have like written that person off as, nah, not messing with that person, because why would you do that? And it really like sparked that conversation, like what makes people good and what makes people bad? Like,
so like to us, that person is still a good person and we still like the person, but to the person that they offended, that person is bad, wicked, evil. But but we can understand why that person would feel that way.
If we were in that person's shoes, we would also be like, what?
But we still think the person is cool. We don't like what the person has done, doing, whatever. But we think the person's pretty cool.
Like as a person, I guess you can see like the genuineness.
Which basically just comes back to that whole thing of everybody has bad and good in them. Everybody carries that. Oh, you might think you're good and you don't do any bad, but to somebody else it could be like, actually, you're not.
Yeah, you're always a villain in someone else's story.
And then there's that question of, okay, good people can do bad stuff.
But I feel like, if it's just a one-time decision, but if it's a lifestyle, I think that's just wicked.
If it's repetitive.
Yeah, like
it's
deliberate. You're doing
ongoing.
Yeah.
It's one thing to make a bad choice, but then there's another thing to make a bad decision, like
constantly.
Yeah.
Over time.
And we will eventually share the scenario so you guys understand what we're talking about. But in that case, this person that we think is good vibes, cool person, is doing that thing continually, essentially.
So they're bad, technically. They're bad because they keep doing the same bad thing, but to them, it's not.
Also, they have a reasoning, and in a way, the person feels almost like they have no other choice because of the situation they're in.
Yeah. Or it could just be an excuse.
But then it could be an excuse. And I also feel like sometimes people don't really realize the ramifications of what they're doing sometimes. For the most part, I do feel like people know what they're doing.
They know.
But are you not contemplating and understanding the extent to which you could be hurting someone? Or putting someone in danger.
But then that goes,
you're selfish.
That taps into when we went out to meet another friend.
Yeah.
What was his analogy? My analogy was, wasn't it the cheesecake? Was it the cheesecake?
I can't remember.
But my analogy was, it was. It's like you're on a diet and you know you shouldn't eat something, but because you want immediate gratification and you want to fulfill the lust or the desire right now, you're going to eat that cheesecake and not care that it's going to affect your weight,
the consequences
in a few weeks' time. You just want to be fulfilled right now. So that's the same with certain decisions people make. They don't care. They know it's going to affect them in the future. They know it's bad, but right now it feels good, and I'm going to give in to that feeling.
Yeah, I guess so. At the time, I argued back like, no, but that's because like if I eat that cheesecake, I know it's only going to affect me. My cheesecake isn't going to affect Ash's weight, for instance. And it's like, in this situation, what you're doing affects someone else, like someone else's life, someone else's feelings. Doesn't that deter you from not doing that? And you were like, well, no, not really, because in that moment, you want what you want. You want that pleasure.
Anybody else. Yeah.
You do think about them, but you don't. Your feelings trump their feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you guys think that whole we have to be selfish and put ourselves and our needs first, that kind of gets hazy with certain people, some situations where you know it's bad and it's wrong, but because you have that analogy of I must put myself first, I must be happy first before anybody else, you're then creating like a big mess. Everything's just chaotic because of the whole I need to put me first.
Yeah, but I feel like if you have that mentality, you're tapped and you won't go far in life. Because if you have that mentality, how are you going to be a mother? How are you going to be a wife? In life, you have to put people before you. More time, you don't put yourself first.
There are times where I put myself first instead of my child, and obviously it's not like a thing, but
because you
can't. You
can't pour from an empty cup.
And you're making a conscious decision to do that because you know your default is to put others before you. So you're just trying to create that balance. Whereas, not to be that girl, but men is totally different. Like, they put themselves first.
Oh yeah,
by nature.
Do you remember when I think there was this question where it was literally like, it was literally men have this habit of if they see a woman and she doesn't tick certain boxes for them, they're not interested.
Yeah, they're not going to consider.
Whereas women can consider and compromise and just be like, oh, it's just that part.
But then that just taps into our nurturing nature. Like, we can nurture him, we can build him up to be what we want. We can work with him. He will grow, he will change, he will adapt.
Yeah.
We have the patience, whereas I don't think men.
I just don't think exactly. It's just not in their nature to make those concessions. They only make those concessions, I think, when they've decided that you tick their boxes and you are worth the little things that they have also decided they can deal with. They're not going to take on the things they can't deal with.
Yeah,
their deal breakers are never going to change.
Yeah.
Like, they're just going to be like, nah, I can't deal with that.
Yeah.
But we will bend our deal breakers, and then that's where we end up in issues. But let's not go off topic. Like, for me, this question is a really big deal because, I've been in situations where it's like, how has this person acted in this way that has obviously hurt me? And how can I, reconcile the person that I thought had that responsibility to not hurt me with someone who has, the person who I thought was good but has clearly done something very bad? Like, are you a good person that has done a bad thing, or were you just a bad person that I thought was good?
I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. Everybody has a bit of bad and good in them. It just depends on whether they continue to do that same bad thing over and over again, and that will determine the fact that you actually are bad. It's not a slip up.
The history, there's a history behind the person being in the situation that they were and doing those things.
Yeah.
But then,
what does your history have to do with you treating me bad if I'm a good person and I ain't done no bad to you? That's not my business.
Unresolved trauma.
Yeah, but when you're with me, you're supposed to be resolving it and moving forward, not still staying behind and doing the same thing again over and over again.
And that's another thing that I think that's the second part of this topic, which is, at what point do you take responsibility and accountability for what has happened in your past and make a conscious decision to do the right thing regardless?
Because
after a while, that doesn't fly anymore.
You know what you want.
After a while, you can't justify
why you're doing
bad to other people,
because of trauma,
just because you can't deal with certain things.
Do you not have trauma?
We all do.
Exactly. We all have trauma, but we're dealing with it. We're handling it. We're doing it to a point where we're not hurting the people we're around. We're not affecting them. If we know that, actually, I feel really bad about something, or I don't feel like myself, maybe I need to see a therapist, or maybe I need to sit down with somebody
I
and
need
talk.
to sort this
You're
out.
making that conscious effort not to affect other people by doing that.
Yeah.
Why can't somebody else manage themselves
do
and
that.
say...
the person or people like that with that mindset to think they can just bury their head in the sand or push it,
not face
push it underneath the rug. Or but then it's always a case of something that breaks the camel's back. They feel like they can deal with it by ignoring it. And let's be real, a lot of men do that. Hence why a lot of men don't go to the doctors. They will, I don't know, there might be blood in their pee, they might be feeling type of way, but they won't go to doctors. If I ignore it, it will go away, and it doesn't work.
It doesn't go away. And even for some instances, like women, some women do that. They have bad behaviour, bad character, bad whatever it is, and they just make the assumption that whoever I'm going to end up with will just have to deal with it, or they'll just look past it and let me just carry on with my bad behaviour.
Yeah.
Because when your friends pull you up on it, or they're jealous of me. When your parents tell you, or my parents don't understand.
Yeah.
When you hear a sermon or something, or
You've
that's
got
not
a
about
reason.
me. There's a reason for everything, to a point where you're not taking accountability for the things that you're doing, and it's just like you can't keep sweeping things under the rug, because that rug's going to get fuller and fuller and fuller, and people are going to get sick of it.
But then also, do you hold your friends to be accountable? Do you pull up your friends when they're doing certain things? A lot of people won't. With me, depends who the person is and what it is. I will just let it slide. I'll be like, you'll find someone in future that will
tell you
about yourself.
I can't. And with me also, it's also not even a them issue, a me issue. Is that pick your battles. It's not everything that you need to speak on. But then, are you doing a disservice to your friend?
Yeah, absolutely. That is, that's the thing. Because I think we've all been in situations where it's like, you see that your friend isn't acting right, or has a habit that is, detrimental to their future or whatever. And sometimes you're just like, well, I've got enough issues, and, you don't want to broach it because you feel like there could be fallout and things like that. But ultimately, Asha said this word, accountability, and I think that is very key with if someone is good or bad, because it's actually that lack of accountability or self-awareness that really can have you tipping over to the other side. Because another thing is, sometimes people wear goodness or being a good person like a cloak. Meanwhile, your actions are
terrible, horrific.
And that ties into being nice versus being kind. And I don't know, we were in Bible study a few weeks ago, and then it came up, and it was just like, as Christians, we're not called to be nice. We're called to be kind. And the difference between being nice and being kind is, oh, you need to go somewhere. Oh, do you want a lift? But I don't actually want to give you a lift.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
saying
do you want a lift? Lip service, essentially. But being kind is, get in a car. I'm going to take you to where you're going, even if it's going to inconvenience me by an hour or whatever. So there's a big difference between being nice and being kind. And a lot of people are nice. A lot of people are not kind. Because if you were, you wouldn't do half the things that you do.
Because actually, being kind requires that you have certain traits behind your good behaviour. Being kind may not necessarily be palatable, but it's truthful, for instance. So being kind is being self-aware to know that if I do this, this is going to affect someone like this, and that's not the right thing to do. Being moral is being kind as well, like being truthful, being honest, those kind of things. So yeah, that's key. Like I could be nice, and everyone thinks I'm wonderful, but if inside I've got dark thoughts, if inside, I'm, I have detrimental habits, I've got addictions, things that I'm not dealing with,
essentially you end up becoming a bad person.
Yes.
Not knowing it. I'm not saying that we're all perfect or we've got it all figured out. There are times where when I pray, I am literally like, please, if I have any jealousy in my heart, if I have anything bad, please remove it from me.
Yeah.
If there's anything that's in my heart that isn't good for the people around me or whatever it is, remove it from me, because I may not see it or feel it.
Yeah.
But if God can just kind of, you're going the wrong way, that's not right, please do that for me, because I may not see it sometimes.
And what's the theme there? Self-awareness, accountability. So yeah. So what makes someone good for you? Because for me, I'm very much, I just want to be surrounded by good people. Like, even when I'm thinking about a future partner, yes, I want certain things. I want you to look a certain way, ideally. I want you to be accomplished and this and that.
6 foot director.
You know. But ultimately, what is key for me and what I cannot do without is that on the inside, you are truly good. And for me, that's not perfection and always doing the right thing. It's just having that desire to do the right thing, to be better every single day. Because we're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to fall short. Yeah. But at the core of you,
you have to be good. You have to be kind. You have to think about me.
Yeah, think about others. Be considerate. Be honest. Be truthful. That's a good person. Be moral. Don't say one thing, act one thing, but on the inside, something else is.
And I think with that, you get to learn a lot about the person that you'd be with, whether it's friends or your partner, because people grow and people change. Within a year to 2 years.
That's another thing.
Growth changes, and then you're like, I don't know this version of you. Who are you?
But then also flip that on its head. Someone could be a bad person and can they become good?
They can, but it's not on you to wait for that person to be good. I'm so sorry. It's not your place to kind of be like, you're bad, but I'm just gonna hang about until you become good. Yeah. I need you to show me that you're making, like, you have to be willing to fight your enemies or your whatever's going on in your head. Yeah. You have to be willing to do that for me to be like, oh, I see you fighting. You want to come out the other side. Yeah. I'm going to be right beside you. I'm going to stick beside you.
I personally don't think I have the anointing, the grace for that. Because, I'm just not built for that.
I feel like I have that with people. Like, not like my partner or whatever, but like friends and like, or family members sometimes even. Where you're literally like, oh, that is not good. But I see that you're trying to...
I feel like I'm only just learning that human beings are incredibly complex, and you can say one thing, you can try to be one thing, and actually there's a part of you that's totally opposite. The fact that two truths can exist, and they could be a bit.
I used that in my email last week.
Two things can be true.
And you popped into my head.
Yeah.
I'm like, this person said this person said that. It's me. Two truths can be the same, like, in one. Yeah.
I'm only just learning that. I'm only just getting to terms with that. So I don't have the grace to help someone on their journey from bad to good. I'm going to just put that
I feel like you're just now experiencing life.
Yeah. So... Yeah.
What was she experiencing before?
The soft life enjoyment, baby girl.
Baby girl. Everybody's good. Everybody's nice. I think it was very clear cut for me. And for me, it was black and white. There was no grey.
I feel like you were naive.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's the word. Yeah, you just... Or innocent.
Yeah.
Like you had an innocence, like... It's either people are good or they're bad.
And what they say to you, how
you believe it. What you say, I'm going to take your word for it.
Yeah.
Because you should be a person of your word. Yeah. I think, not naive, there was just an innocence.
And funny enough, I got told that. You're so innocent. You're so innocent. And I always was just like...
Who said that? Really?
Yeah. Multiple times. You're so innocent. You're so innocent. And
so you like,
I didn't even understand. I was just like, innocent. You must think I'm just this goody two shoes, and I would just like, I don't understand what that means.
He was trying to say,
he was trying to be like, you have no idea.
You so delulu.
Like you can't even comprehend
how tough someone can have it,
like how dark life can be.
Yeah.
That's what the person was saying. So only after I'm like,
but you know the thing is,
you warned me. You're giving me the signs, the smoke signals.
Literally,
I wish you could have just said
I didn't have a choice whether to ignore it. I did not understand it. It didn't. Yeah. It didn't mean anything to me.
That's why the Bible says, "People perish for the lack of knowledge."
Baby. Now I'm like, oh wow, you were trying to tell me that. It was almost like he was looking at me in astonishment, like, I
can't believe one can be like
this. You have not a clue. So yeah.
But
Like, I'm learning.
this is why when we have those discussions where we literally say, everybody knows exactly what they're doing. There's some people that are not there yet. There are some people that have not experienced life the way others have, so they're not there yet.
I guess on the flip side, because I'm saying the people that are doing bad, they know what they're doing, but actually some people...
They're not there yet. They haven't experienced it. They're still experimenting. They just don't know yet until it hits them, and it's like, oh, wow. Yeah. But back to this topic. This person...
You need to tell the people
the story.
You need to tell the people.
Okay, well, I just don't know how to... Could you guys read my mind and just do it for me? Because
we all know someone. We all went out with this person, and this person essentially is cheating on their partner.
partner, wife,
husband. We're not disclosing. This person is cheating on their partner. They've been with their partner for a very long time. They have kids. They have looks like the perfect life, right? And we're just like, we are so cool with this person. We see the person in such a good light.
Yeah.
Obviously, that person's partner, if they know, are probably looking at this person like, you bad man prick, blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. But we're just like, clearly, you must not be a good person for you to do that. And obviously, we don't condone cheating at all. And that's what's spinning us. Like, we actually don't condone cheating, but you're so cool.
Yeah.
But clearly, you might not be that.
The thing is here, like, we knew the person already and had established that opinion of the person before then finding out about this other side of this person.
Yeah.
So, whereas the person, obviously the partner, probably is like, to them, that person is horrid. To us, even now with the knowledge of that other side of the person, we still can't really...
Like, how can
we can't get
comprehend it? Like, it's not...
There is no way you could be
you
such
can't
a good
be this person
and
be
this
so
bad
person at the same time.
But the reality is, you can.
Yeah.
You can. You could be a very bad person and still be good.
Yeah. And another thing is, like, it's quite peculiar for us because one thing we all have in common is once you're someone that is cheating or whatever, immediately we're like, But because we already knew this person, we can somehow still be cool with the person because...
We do call the person out.
Yes.
We did have a strong word.
A lot
to say.
But you, especially me, I wouldn't even be able to tolerate the person. So I was even surprised with myself. Like, I would just be like, ew, get out of my face. Yeah. So I was even surprised that...
You're still able to manage. Yes. Like, oh.
Not even manage, like, you're cool.
I still like you as a person.
So here we are, like, is he good? Is he bad?
Is she good? Is she bad?
Is she good? Is she bad?
There are bad people that are working through things. I always keep it that way.
For years though.
But even with like female friendships, right? When you know your friend is actually very, you know they're good. It's just, they're just working through it or they're attempting and it's like...
I don't have friends like that. I have friends that could have done something.
But didn't.
Something, but not someone that is constantly doing something or something.
Yeah.
No, I don't have that.
And then I guess we're trying to like rationalize it to get, maybe I'm trying to rationalize it to get an understanding of it. And then I'm also thinking, is it because I haven't been in certain scenarios where I just feel like I would never do that? But is it because I haven't lived a certain life? Because, like, for instance, I absolutely believe when it comes to morality, you're better able to be moral if you're privileged, in my opinion. Because I have a job and I have a home, I don't need to go out and steal. It's not something that
would come to mind.
But if I was hungry, I didn't know where my next meal would come from.
You would go to the co-op and grab a sandwich and not pay for it and walk away.
So it's like, Is it easy to be like, I would never do that? Why would you do that? Because I'm not in a situation or ever been in a situation where it's not so easy to be moral.
But in this situation, yes, 100%. But in this situation, we all have been in a situation, in a relationship, at any given point, one point in time, we have not been happy, whether it be for a prolonged period or a short period. Did you want to cheat? Did you think, let me step out of this relationship and cheat on a person? You're there nodding. I'm hoping you're just...
Oh, sorry, that's a no.
Deep in what I'm saying. Not doing that. I
did. I put my shoes on my foot. No, absolutely not.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So we have been in that situation. Fair enough, we haven't been married for 10, 15 years and had kids, but we have been in similar situations.
Where we've chosen to go the other way and not actually do a madness just because.
Yeah.
I know for me, for instance, like, the guilt would eat me up. Like,
see, I'm the opposite.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm like, the guilt will not eat me up. It might be that, damn, did I delete that? Or
the stress. Yeah,
that's the paranoia. The paranoia, I'm like, oh, hey, I thought you, like, can you smell something on me? Is it somebody else's perfume? I think that will eat me up, not the other stuff.
I wouldn't be able to do it. I'd be so stressed.
But the guilt wouldn't deter me. It wouldn't be guilt.
What would it be for you?
Pride.
Like, I can't believe as a woman.
I'm too prideful for that.
Yeah.
You think anyone can just say
that? Yeah.
Imagine.
End up in a group chat. Oh yeah, she cheated on her. No, I have too much pride, so I can't do it. I have too much pride. I need to pray about it. I have too much pride. Certain pride won't allow me to do many things.
It's never morals. It's pride.
Pride.
This one is paranoia. Morals. The Lord will strike me down. This one, pride.
But at least we've got something that will stop. Yeah.
And that's another thing. I think this is why, like, morality is a slippery slope. I feel like once you open the door to certain things, your deterrents go away eventually. You're opening the door, you have a deterrent in place, you've ignored that, you open the door wider, wide.
Box.
Yeah, before you know it, you're now...
Yeah. There will be 7 evils.
There's no deterrent anymore. You've knocked them out of...
Yeah. You open one thing, you open the greed box. You're now going to Dubai and people are putting on your hand. you open that back.
Real,
I did not think of it.
I honestly do think it starts small. And I feel like in our generation, in our time, we need self-control like never before. It's not everything you must do. It's not everything you must experience. Sometimes just...
Sometimes live vicariously through someone else.
There is so much you can learn from learning from other people's mistakes.
You don't have to as well.
Take your own mistakes. That I'm a firm believer in.
And it may come across like boring and self-righteous, but I just feel like...
We're not, by the way.
We're actually not.
We're lit.
We have our own baggage and we have our own ways of doing things, but...
And I feel like that's part of it for me, because I honestly feel like life is already stressful. I really do not need to add more issues.
Can you imagine trying to manage 4 men? 4 boyfriends.
We're just about managing 0. Life is getting to us at 0.
You're going out on a date and then somebody else is like, "Hi, where are you? The
Popping
girls."
up.
Now you have to send the girls and tell them, please say that. Send me a picture of me and you.
Even dating multiple people at one time is a lot.
Stressful.
Because you have to remember, did I say this to this person or this person? What did this person tell me? I can't remember.
There was one time I went on I did 3 dates in one day. But my dating isn't like we're going to kiss, sleep.
Dating.
Yeah. I went on one in the morning. It was like a morning on breakfast one. Like walk in the park or something, and then after eat breakfast, went back home, changed my shoes, went into like a midday activity one, like to play tennis or something, and then dinner time, put my shoes in and went to a bar. And I just thought, I got home and I was like, this is exhausting. I will never do it again in my life. Ever. Anyways, I digress. But there's just some things that are just too much for one person to handle. And I think this is why there's so many things, like even in religion, when it comes to greed or having too much or possessing too much or having too much power, you get to do so much stuff that you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So pick and choose wisely. Like, that's not for me. That I can handle.
There has to be like boundaries, places, and I don't mean like physical places, but just things that you're not going to allow in your life. Like, this is not for me, and I'm sorry to do it again, but I think men, you guys need to be more principled. There should just be certain things that's like, nah, that's too low. I can't do that. What's wrong with that?
You don't actually
Principles are not just for women. Value is not just for women.
Yeah.
Like, you are devaluing yourself as well. And I think if more men saw it in that light, maybe you would act differently. You are devaluing yourself. Society may not see it like that. They've not socialized you like that, but facts.
Absolutely.
Why can't you hold yourself to a higher standard?
Why must I look at you in disrespect? Like, what? Why does your family have group meetings about you every week?
And if you struggle with stuff like that, just start from small things. Like
implementing discipline in small things, so self-control.
Implementing discipline in your diet. Maybe you like a lot of chocolate and you just say, do you know what? I'm going to cut out chocolate for 6 months. Start there.
That's even small. Maybe you just like money. Stop liking money. Be happy. Just try and like.
That one is a big one.
Yeah, because liking money, you will end up doing stupid things that are just beyond and above you. That sometimes will even lead you to getting imprisoned, getting impregnated by the wrong person, and then being married to the wrong person and being unhappy. But you have a Rolex. Oh my God, I cannot. For a piece of like an outfit or a lifestyle, it's just the balance. The balance of it. I know a lot of people joke about we'd rather cry in a Rolls Royce. We would rather cry in a Rolls Royce, absolutely. But
I'd rather not cry.
I'd rather not cry at all.
But then that brings us to like values though. Because at the end of the day, another thing that affects what we do and the decisions we make are the values we have. What's important to you? If at the top of your totem pole is fame, money, influence, you would do whatever it takes to get there. If it's dark things, if it's Diddy type things, you finna do that.
You finna get on those freak
offs. And it's a thing, like people are doing all sorts just to be in certain rooms, just to be accepted, just to have money. What's important to you? Yeah. Ultimately, your values will drive your behaviour. And I think that's the thing. So,
and sometimes it's always about society as well. Winning and losing. You think you're losing because people in your group or your friends around you are doing something, so you assume that you must also be a winner and do horrible things or do things that just land you and things that you... It's just all a bit much. It's all a bit much. Just get off social media, man.
Just face your front and stay in your lane. We're in 3 different lanes. What she's doing, I cannot do. What she's doing, I cannot
be in their lane anymore.
Everybody just stay in your lane. Like,
okay. Life will actually go on and move on and it'll be alright.
Literally, if you're running a race, you can't be looking at your opponent. You need to be looking at you. You need to be looking at, or else you'll fall over and you'll lose.
Yeah.
Just run your race. Don't be comparing yourself to other people, like in any way. And plus, you don't know what people are doing to get these things. And social media is just an illusion. Gosh.
Yeah.
Things that happen behind closed doors.
Yeah. And I guess you need to know yourself and be confident in like who you are. Because that's probably part of the issue as well.
That's true. Once you know who you are. And maybe that could be the problem as well, because you don't know who you are.
You don't know who you are. You haven't like taken that...
everything.
Yeah, you haven't taken that time to really be like... Because if I don't know who I am, then how can I even hold myself to a standard? You don't know who you are. What is the standard?
Accountability, what's that? Yeah.
What am I holding myself accountable to? You don't know who you are. You don't know the type of person behaves a certain way because you haven't identified who that person is. You can't be like, oh, I'm the type of person that doesn't do this when you don't know who you are. So know who you are, run your own race, be content, try and be disciplined. And it's not like 5 a.m. gang, but because I'm not like that.
I'm 6 a.m. gang.
Like, I am not like that. I'm not that kind of, oh, routine, I got to do this. But there's just things that you will never catch me doing because that's not me.
Like what?
I was literally going to say never, but I'd also do it.
No, I do believe never say never, but never. I will say never.
Yeah. Like,
you'll never catch me smoking a cigarette. Never.
Yes.
Never have, never will. Yeah. If you smoke cigarettes, good
Right,
for you.
yeah.
We love that for you. But for me, never.
Yeah.
That's also one thing, like, even growing up being a teenager, that I never did because I just felt, what is the point?
What is it? I did it once when we moved to Coventry.
Yeah.
There were so many Oyinbo people,
Mm-hmm.
and it was literally a thing where at school everyone's like, give us a fag, and everybody would just pass it along, and everybody has twos, they call it.
Yeah, too.
So you have twos, and I'd be like, oh, I don't know, like, I'm not, and I'm like, and then I thought, this is just ridiculous. It felt like nothing, it's stupid, and I coughed a lot. But then from then I was just like, you don't have to try things that you don't, like, it's not needed.
So, like,
that was so random, sorry.
But it still comes to that point where, like, I feel like once you reach a certain point of adulthood, it's now your responsibility to do better for yourself and to try and cut off those generational patterns and trauma.
You're a tree. If there's specific excess bits that you don't need, you got to trim them off. Take them
You
out.
owe it to the people that are coming after you, to the people around you, not to spread.
You owe it to yourself to deal with it.
Yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Answer the question. What's your roundup?
I think honestly, like, people are just very complicated, and sometimes you find yourself in situations where you are doing the wrong thing. I don't think it automatically makes you a bad person, but I think ultimately you have to hold yourself accountable and you have to do better. You can't go around doing bad stuff to people, like.
Yeah, you can't go around being poison.
Yeah.
There has to be a point where you stop that or you cut it off.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
If you feel like people around you are not helping you towards that, or you've not figured out a way to do that, just step away from it. I always say, try and come out of your own bubble. Just step up. I don't even know how to explain it. Go on holiday. But step away from it. Like, step away from yourself.
I agree. Step away from it. If you cannot help what you're doing, I would rather you go away. Say to whoever, I can't do this, I can't be with you. It's better to go away than, continuing the deceit, the hurt,
the pretense.
The pretense. Yeah. Don't do that.
But I think we're going to do a part 2 on this. So make sure you like, share, comment and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to see the part 2. But thank you so much for watching. Until the next episode. Ciao.